Hi everybody, it's great to be back here again. Itzmar, it's Friday, Parashat Lech Licha. Wow, we are literally in the land of Lech Licha, the land that this all took place. I just got back. I was away for about 8 days in Uzbekistan on a special mission of the return of the lost tribes, and God willing, in the future I will definitely talk about that. But when I think of this week's portion and where Abraham came from, that whole area, and these, we're discussing last week's portion, Noah, Parashat Noah, about the literal areas where the tribes were banished, where they were exiled to. And Abraham, representing the return, when he's coming back to the land of Israel, of course, he is showing us that in the future, the lost tribes will return. They'll come home. And where is the very place that Abraham first steps upon when he enters the land, of course, is Itamar, our backyard over here, as we always say. But today I want to focus on the words in Genesis 15, verse number 1, where God, after these things happen, God appears to Abraham in a dream, and he says, "Don't fear, Abraham, I am watching you. You have a lot of merit. A lot of merit," God says to Abraham. And Abraham says to God, what am I going to have? I'm childless. And my servant Eliezer is going to inherit my home. So God says to Abraham that in verse 4, he says, he says, no, the person that's going to inherit you is the child that's going to come out of your loins. So God was promising Abraham not to worry that you are going to have a child. And then it says he took him outside, and Abraham looks at the stars of the heavens, and he says, if you can count those stars, you should know that's going to be the number of your children. And then he believed in God, and God considered this tzedakah, righteousness. Those are the verses I just read in Genesis, and I want to focus on them. And a lot of times in this world, people are, they sort of learn to accept reality, which is a good thing. You have to be realistic, right? But on the other hand, it comes from what we call despair or anguish. When people say, I'm in a certain situation, I can't get out of it, this is reality for me. And they learn to live with it, although in reality they can make a change, and they can change the situation. And I think this is really the important lesson that God is telling Abraham. That we can't suffice. Sometimes we have to realize, we may think, and even in the natural explanation of things, we're in a big trap. We don't see how we're going to get out of the maze. But God is telling us there's a way out. And that, the answer is, as I mentioned before, is where God says, V'min b'Hashem, right? Abraham had believed in God, and God saw this as righteousness. In other words, through faith in Hashem, that can really change any kind of reality. Our connection with God could make us go way beyond and come outside and go beyond and look up in the stars, and the impossible can become a reality. And I think I'd like to relate to this a story which I just read this week, about a famous rabbi, Rav Zalman Auerbach. And there was a person who was working very, very hard, and he was a teacher, a rabbi of what we call a kollel, right, of a small yeshiva, and he would work very hard to raise money to support the kollel, so the students would get a stipend, a monthly stipend. They would be able to learn without too much pressure. And he was under a lot of stress, and then he had very, very pains in his chest, very strong pains. He went to a doctor and said, listen, you're under too much stress. If you don't stop this, you're going to, God forbid, have a heart attack. And he went to this great rabbi named Rabbi Zalman Auerbach, and he told him, listen, he told the whole story. And he said, yes, you got to stop the stress. But not the way you think. Because he told Rabbi Zalman Auerbach that he was thinking of closing down the whole school, his program. And Rabbi Auerbach said to him, no, that's not the answer, to close down your kollel. That's a beautiful thing you're doing, teaching. But he said, I want you to do something. And promise me you're going to do this. And he told him that every time you wake up in the morning, from the wake up in the morning until you go to sleep at night, I want you to write down all the special things that you see that God does for you during the day. Make a list, take out we call it pinkas, a little notebook, a little diary, and record this in your diary. What we call the diary of divine providence. Every time you see God does something special to you, write it down. Well, that's what he did. He went out and he recorded my meeting with this great rabbi, Rav Auerbach, was his first thing that God did. And he began to fill up the pages. And what was fascinating, it didn't take long. Within a short time, not only that he was feeling better with all his pains and all that, but the raising the funds in order to maintain his school, they started to flow like water. It was really successful. He was amazed. And what was the answer the great rabbi told him to do? Was awareness, was to be thankful to Hashem, to realize when you wake up in the morning, you go to sleep at night. Let us find things that we can be thankful to the Creator of the universe for. And when we are pay attention to those things, our lives will change. Literally. And that's exactly, I think, is exactly if we pay attention to the words of Abraham over here. And when he was telling Hashem, what's going to be with me? I have no continuation. And God was saying, go outside now. You have to meditate. Look at the stars. Go beyond this world. And realize the miracles. What kind of why look at the stars for? Well, I think besides the fact that he said your numbers are going to be huge like the stars, obviously. But he was saying to him, if you focus and meditate on the stars and you see how this universe that God created is way beyond our grasp, it's miraculous. It's miraculous that we live in such a special place in this world. And God is telling us that is the secret of success in going beyond the regular mundane world that we live in, beyond the reality that we know. If we look beyond, then God will show us miracles. And that's exactly what it is. Abraham had the faith in Hashem. He saw God promised him, and he had such a belief, realizing that a connection to Hashem is the only way that we are going to have our lives changed. And that changed Abraham's life. With this message, we have to take it home. And every day when we wake up in the morning, until we go to sleep at night, let us look for the things that Hashem does for us and how He changes our lives, how He blesses us. There is so much to be thankful for with all the difficult things that go on in this world. We have to look for the good, and that will strengthen our bond and connection with the Creator of the universe, and we will merit in seeing miracles. Shabbat Shalom, B'sorot Tovot, Yeshuot V'nechamot.